Reporter Tim McMahon, who is covering the Suns. So, Tim, let's start here. What is the latest that you're hearing about Deandre Ayton's status for tonight?
Well, I'm certainly not getting a strong sense of optimism, Malika, but he has not been ruled out at this point. I'm told he is experiencing significant pain, that it's an injury that typically would take 2 to 3 weeks to recover from, but he's continuing to go through the treatment process, and that a final decision on his Game 6 status won't be made until closer to tip-off. He is dealing with a rib contusion. Obviously, banging with Joker is not a whole lot of fun when you're fully healthy, you can imagine, with some bruised ribs. So not optimistic, but not ruled out quite yet.
Well, this is a team that is already missing Chris Paul for this game. So Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, they're top 5 in most minutes played in these playoffs. What are they saying about their workload ahead of this one tonight?
They don't want to talk about their workload. You know, Kevin Durant says everybody's playing 40-plus minutes during the playoff. Basically, why are you out? Why is everybody always asking us about it? Of course, it's not just workload, it's usage rate. But these guys, KD and Devin Booker, they say, look, we don't mind having that kind of responsibility. We don't mind. They won't call it a burden. You talk to Devin Booker, and he's talking about, I love this. He's talking about embrace the challenge, embrace the opportunity. They understand they have to play like superstars for the Suns to win, and that's a challenge that they are not only willing to take, but excited about.
Okay, so on the other side of things, though, the Nuggets side, Jamal Murray, he is listed as questionable for Game 6 with a non-COVID illness. What are you hearing about the likelihood that he plays?
Yeah, there's a bug going through the Nuggets right now. They cut shoot-around short this morning in large part because Murray wasn't feeling well. I do hear, though, that he is optimistic about being able to play tonight, but certainly under the weather, certainly won't be feeling 100%.
Okay, Tim, thank you so much. Enjoy tonight's game. Let's take a look at Deandre Ayton and Jock Landale, who's seen a little bit more action since Game 3 of this series. That's in lieu of Deandre Ayton. So look at this. Since then, the Suns have a net efficiency of plus 27 with Landale on the court. They have a net efficiency of negative 20 with Ayton on the court. Interesting there. So welcoming back Vince Carter. Vince, you heard the mindset for Phoenix heading into tonight, but what do you think the Suns actually need to do in order to force a Game 7 there?
Well, first and foremost, Malika, play those guys 43, 44, 48, right, whatever you need to do to get a win. But for sure, KD and Book have to be the catalyst in this, and they have to get it done. Be aggressive from start to finish, but they're going to have to find someone else from their bench to give them something. Maybe it's multiple guys. You know, Terrence Ross and Shamet are shooters. So if those guys, if you can get shooters to start knocking down shots, it opens the floor up, and you can't just sag off of them. Campaign possibly, TJ Warren. They have to find someone else. They have to have a third guy to play well to kind of offset what the Denver Nuggets are doing, because they have guys. Obviously, Jokic is playing well. Porter's playing well, and obviously Jamal Murray. It
all goes down in Game 6 at 10 o'clock Eastern right here on ESPN. Vince, do not go too far, but have you gotten your phone out yet, VC? Have you voted? I want to know what you and the people at home think. Who is more likely to force a Game 7? Is it the Celtics, Perk? Is it the Suns? We will reveal the results of this QR code later in what happened. Jason Tatum, he dropped 46 in Milwaukee to extend the series, and then Boston, of course, went on to the NBA Finals. What will it take for Boston to reach that level again? Well, Marcus Smart, he has the answer.
It's a true dogfight. Scratching, clawing, biting, blood, everything. And if you're not willing to pretty much get dirty, if you're not willing to bleed, if you're not willing to break something, if you're not willing to tear something, going hard, then you shouldn't be on that court, because that's what it is. That's what the playoffs about. You know, hopefully you stay safe, but that's the mentality you got to go. You got to be able to risk it all for these games, and that's the mentality we got to have.
Bringing Brian Windhorst into the conversation. All right, Brian, your thoughts on this Celtics team heading into Game 6?
Yeah, Malika, you just talked about Jason Tatum last year. I don't think this is the same situation. Tatum is obviously their leading scorer, but he is maybe not the best option, even though that's the way the Celtics have been playing. So Tatum has taken 20 more shots in this series than Jaylen Brown, and I'm not sure that's the direction they need to go here in Game 6. Jaylen Brown is shooting 57% from the field, but there have been whole quarters where he hasn't even come close to shooting the ball. The difference that the Celtics maybe need to make here is to go to Jaylen Brown more. He has a better matchup against the Sixers defense. The Sixers have a couple of guys who've been successful on Tatum throughout the season. They don't have that good matchup for Jaylen Brown, so look to see if the game plan is to not have the differential in those shots like we've seen in the last few games.
All right, Perk. I need a percentage chance of the Celtics being able to force a Game 7 here. How optimistic are you?
Well, I'm not going to give you a percentage chance, and I'm going to say that the Celtics has played with fire long enough, and tonight they're going to get burnt. And Marcus Smart talked about a dog fight. Well, there's dogs on the other side as well in Philadelphia. And when you look at Joel Embiid, we talk about risking it all. This guy's out here, and he's playing injured. And we're watching them chase down blocks. This team has confidence. Tyrese Maxey got his confidence and saw the ball go in Game 5. This environment is going to be hostile, and I believe Philly understands the moment. We heard Joel Embiid talk about how, he came so close to reaching the conference finals and how it's on his mind. We saw what he did in Boston. Imagine what he's going to do in Philly. Role players are going to play better at home, and this is what happens when you play with the game of basketball and be inconsistent for us, the Celtics. Tonight, I got Philadelphia actually winning this basketball game and closing this series out.
Well, this isn't the only elimination game going down tonight. The Suns also facing elimination, down 3-2 to Denver. They'll be at home where they won Games 3 and Games 4. This one is going down tonight on ESPN as well. So, Brian, any words of wisdom here for the Suns tonight?
Yeah, obviously they've got potentially a change in that starting lineup with Jock Landale playing instead of Deandre Ayton. That should help them defensively, but offensively they need more, especially if Ayton is out. Without Ayton and Chris Paul, you've got two of their top 4 scorers gone. That means more than ever they need support off of that bench with shooting. Landry Shamet was able to do that in Game 4. Playing at home, he is a guy who is going to get open shots. Also, Terrence Ross has played well and shot the ball well at home. The Suns are going to need points. It's a basic need, but they are badly in need of getting some of that support. It would also help Phoenix if Jamal Murray, who was questionable with an illness, wasn't on his game either.
Danny, are the Suns going to push this to 7?
I don't think so. I think it's over. But it's all up to seeing if Jamal Murray's healthy or if Ayton. We don't know who's in or who's out. I don't think Phoenix has enough with Ayton being out. They need scoring, like Wendy said. Their bench production has been good some games, but it hasn't been consistent. But they need more from Terrence Ross. They need more from Landry Shamet, T.J. Warren. Those guys have to score because they shoot too many mid-ranges. But Lindell and Bismack Biyombo, I think, are good pieces, but I don't think they're enough for Jokic to get this done at home.
Well, I mean, with Ayton in the lineup, he hasn't been much of help either. So, I'm looking at the role players, and I believe what Shamet, last time they played at home in Game 4, I think he had like 20-plus off the bench.
Big game.
T.J. Warren knock down some big shots. And Kevin Durant did not play well in Game 5. I believe he will bounce back tonight. I think the adjustment that Monty needs to make is to put Kevin Durant more on the ball and make him that point forward and let Devin Booker play more off the ball so that he could be able to attack and get downhill.
Brian, are you looking at one of these two series as having more of a chance to get to a Game 7?
Yeah, the Celtics are 6-1 after losses the last 2 postseasons. I have seen them do this time and time again. I know that Perk is right. They're not the same defensive team that they were last year. They're the 10th best defensive team in the playoffs this year. Last year, they were the 2nd best. I sat here with this team last year, Malika, through the 3 series I covered and watched them go 3-1 in road games after losses, 2-0 in road elimination games. Considering they're going to have their full complement of players, I think they got a better shot of Phoenix in extending the series.
Better shot of Phoenix. I know Perk just heard I'm right and then
Now,
sat back in his chair and was happy.
Wendy's my guy. You know that.
Brian Windhorst, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on NBA Today. So Brian thinks that potentially the Celtics have a better chance. But what do you think? It's your last chance to vote. Let us know, which team do you think is more likely to force a Game 7? Is it the Celtics? Is it the Suns? Vote now, and we will reveal the results in just 60 seconds.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports here. And tonight is a big night, but let's talk about last night for a second. Last night, Lakers got defeated by the Golden State Warriors. Health on Anthony Davis. He is available to play even though he got hit in the head. No concussion, but he is able to play. Now, another game last night. New York defeated Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Finally, they can actually win a game with Jimmy Butler in the on the floor. Now, they won last night. They're going back to Miami, down 3-2 still. That's tomorrow night. Lakers are going back home. They're up 3-2. Can they close on the Warriors? Can the Heat close on the Knicks? Or can the Knicks and the Warriors come back? Right? So that was yesterday's game. Now let's get back into today's games. Today's games, elimination. Now, the fact that you have, let's talk about Philly. Philly played phenomenal basketball in, I believe it was game 5. Now, with game 5 on the line, in Boston, Philly and Joel Embiid played phenomenal. Now, this game 6, is in Philadelphia. Can the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid and James Harden and Tyrese Maxey get the job done and close the lid on Boston Celtics? Or will the Boston Celtics force a game 7? That is yet to be decided. Watch tonight for sure. This is going to be one hell of a matchup. I gotta watch this. It's going to be incredible. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows that Deandre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns do not sit well in the same room together. Now, with Deandre Ayton, he is officially listed as out with a rib contusion. He has not played well at all this series, and, you know, I don't think they're going to miss him, because whenever he's on the floor, it's always a minus 21, minus 15, 0, minus 19. So at the end of the day, he's not doing fairly well in this series against the Joker. Perk is saying he has no mentality, he has no urgency, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now, the big question remains, with Deandre Ayton out, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to play, right? Regardless of the injury, he is done with the Phoenix Suns, and the Phoenix Suns are done with him. I'll get more on this topic in the offseason. If you watched yesterday, I fully think he's going to get traded. I fully think he is going to get traded, and I'm just throwing it out there. Sign and trade for Kyrie Irving. That's the rumor I'm hearing, and I'll let you guys ponder on that. Now, what is going to happen with the Phoenix Suns minus Ayton against the Denver Nuggets? Now, that Londale guy, I forget his name, but he plays fairly well for the Phoenix Suns. Can the Phoenix Suns actually do some damage and force a game 7? They're in Phoenix tonight. Mind you, the Denver Nuggets have not won a single game in Phoenix this series. So this game could very well be pushed back to Denver for game 7. What's going to happen? I have no freaking idea, but I encourage you guys to leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think. Are the Denver Nuggets going to close out the Phoenix Suns tonight, or are the Phoenix Suns going to force a game 7? And are the Philadelphia 76ers going to close out the Boston Celtics in game 6 tonight in Philadelphia? That place is going to be rocking, by the way. Are the Boston Celtics going to actually force a game 7? I know my man Craig's going to be voting for Philadelphia 76ers, diehard Philly fan. Shout out to Craig right there. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen? Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think. This is Jag from Jaggy Sports.